My name is Jamie Wilton, and today I'm going to discuss my findings from our training on professional learning communities, also known as PLCs. So, I was hired to look deeply into the PLC process at our school. And one of the biggest things that I wanted to start out doing was finding out exactly how well our teams knew how to conduct a PLC. And so I did send out an initial survey, PLC questionnaire, and most of the teachers stated that they understood what a PLC was, but they also mentioned that only about 60% of the teachers felt that their team was actually conducting a PLC at about an average rate or an average score regarding our PLC rubric. And so that means that they scored a 3 or lower. And so what I did was I went around and I did observe some of these PLCs. And I did look around. And one of the biggest things that I realized was that our elementary level was, in fact, at about a 3 or lower. But our middle school were not conducting PLCs whatsoever. And so based off of this, I decided to create learning as a refresher on PLCs to see if that would assist and support our middle schools as well as our elementary schools. And so using Pear Deck, which is more self-paced, it can also be teacher-led, but it was more self-directed because with teachers nowadays, giving them that opportunity to take the time when they have it to conduct the training was really beneficial. And I actually received quite a bit of good positive feedback on the fact that I did host the training that way. And so we had quite a few teachers. We had 6 total teachers sign up to participate in this learning. And so some of the feedback that I received was that they did enjoy the self-paced, self-directed training process because it allowed them that time to actually get it done. They also enjoyed the scenario-based questions because it allowed them to critically look at what was being asked and to practice what they had just learned, which was amazing. The last bit that they did enjoy were the videos, and they said that the videos were very engaging in that it assisted in supporting their views on what a PLC is supposed to look like. Now, after all of this and taking the feedback survey and looking at the debriefing, some feedback that I did receive and modifications that I'm planning to incorporate into the training so that it is updated and better for our school is, one, the teams really did struggle with the differentiating between elementary and middle school, mostly because in elementary, there's multiple teachers teaching the exact same thing. So you've got maybe anywhere from 3 to 5 teachers at each grade level teaching the same math, the same science, the same social studies. Whereas at the middle school, you might only have one teacher teaching English language arts, and you might have another teacher teaching science, and it's per grade level. So it's the collaboration is a struggle. And so a couple of brainstorming methods that I have are to research into vertical PLCs to see if there is enough information based off of our standards in order to conduct training on that vertical PLCs, or we can locate and create more training on focusing on commonalities cross-curricular, for example, reading and writing. Those tend to be content and standards specific that is very similar across all content levels at all grades. So that might be something that we look into doing. But I'm really interested in visiting this vertical PLC research a little bit more, but that might be something for future down the line. The second piece that was brought to my attention was that the evaluation was not something that the teachers really enjoyed. As a matter of fact, 2 of the teachers mentioned they purposely did not take the evaluation because it was a multiple choice quiz. And they would much rather have been evaluated using scenario-based learning or PBLs. There's lots of different ways to explain that, but they preferred this scenario because then they could look at the PLC rubric and they could use that to help guide their learning. Whereas a multiple choice question, they could guess the answer correct if they wanted to. So they did not see the reason behind a multiple choice Google form. So going forward, I think what we will do for that evaluation piece is we're going to change it and we're going to make it more of here's the data, locate the essential learnings, look at how you would go about teaching this, and what format of monitoring are you going to use. And then continue to use our PLC rubric so that they can get that instant feedback each time. The last thing that I didn't think about and was brought to my attention in the debriefing and feedback survey was that a lot of teams do not actually know how to create a common assessment, and they don't know how to establish norms and enforce those. And so one thing that I wanted to do was actually develop some examples of some common assessments so that the teams can actually look at what a common assessment might look like. And then also create an additional slide in the training on norms and the importance behind them. One team in particular, there were two teachers on the 8th grade team that mentioned that they were very, very interested in learning different methods and strategies on how to enforce norms because there are some teachers who struggle with collaborating and they really would like some strategies on how to handle those so that they can correctly conduct a PLC because they feel that that might be something that they struggle with in the future. And so I'm more than happy to facilitate that type of learning. Overall, this study was a success. And there are a couple of modifications that I will make. And hopefully in the fall, when we roll this training out, I get a lot of more positive feedback and a lot more feedback that can help with ensuring that this training goes off without a hitch in the future. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I hope that these recommendations are going to work out for us.